All right, so we are going to apply the rules of solving linear expressions, and we're going to use what I like to refer to as train tracks to be a winner. And the winner is a person who can get it to, there you go, that's a little better, get the variable, the letter, the unknown, all by itself. So I should have probably done that earlier. All right, so here we go. Problem 13. We have the expression 1 minus x over 2. And that is equal to 7. All right. What does this over 2 mean? Caroline?
Divided by?
Means divided by 2. All right. Now, most of you should be familiar with PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And why is it that every math student has an Aunt Sally? I don't know. But parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division are of the same weight or value, so this goes left to right. Then we have addition, subtraction, same idea. Left to right, same value. This is what we follow if we are going to solve or to undo a order of operations problem. But that's not what we have here. Clara, we have solving a linear equation problem. We need to undo this expression. When you undo the expression, you will start at the bottom and work your way up. So, one last piece about algebra here. When you have a binomial or a trinomial or a polynomial in the numerator or the denominator of a fraction, it is implied that you have parentheses right here. So let's ask the question. What do I need to deal with first? Do I need to deal with the divided by 2 or the piece that's in the parentheses? Clara?
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2. Now we are undoing this. So what is the opposite of dividing by 2?
Multiplying by 2.
Multiplying by 2. So I'm going to draw my train tracks, and I'm going to multiply this whole side by 2. Now, what allows me to multiply this whole side by 2? What else do I have to do?
Multiply the other side by 2.
Multiply the other side by 2. And we learned that we are allowed to do that. That is how the rules work. Okay, so let's deal with the right side because it's easier. What is 7 times 2? 14. That's not too bad. All right, so here we have 2, and we have a divided by 2. So 2 is the same thing as saying 2 over 1, correct?
Yes.
All right, so instead of multiplying the numerators, multiplying the denominators, it is so much easier if we simply reduce the fraction first. So that's what we're going to do. What goes into 2 and 2 evenly? 2. This is not a trick question. So 2 divided by 2 is? 1. Oh boy, summer brain. 2 divided by 2 is?
1.
So this fraction, this denominator now cancels out because we multiplied by 2. So that's wonderful. So now we just have 1 minus x is equal to 14. All right, so that's not too shabby. And you'll notice that I dropped the parentheses. Here's why I dropped the parentheses. These parentheses are showing that 1 is divided by 2 and negative x is divided by 2. So once we get rid of this denominator, we don't have to show that both of these things are being divided by 2. Therefore, we can drop the parenthesis. All right, so now what is my next step so we can win the game? That's what we want, win the game. What's my next step? What's the opposite of this? And there are two possible options. All right, Emerson?
You could subtract 1.
Let's subtract 1, because the opposite of positive 1 is negative 1. All right, so let's go ahead and subtract 1. And so if I subtract 1 on one side, what do I have to do to the other? Subtract 1, excellent. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, and this is why I picked this problem, because I don't want anyone to get confuzzled here. What is 1 minus 1? 0. Okay, I'm not going to write the 0 because it doesn't do anything. What do I bring down? Negative x. We cannot drop this negative sign because this negative sign belongs to this x right here. All right. 14 minus 1 is, just shout it out. 13. So are we done? Do we have the x all by itself? No. So we have not won the game yet. So what do we do to get the x to be positive? Emerson?
We add x.
Well, we could, but that's if we add x to both sides, and you can do it this way. If we add x to both sides, we'll have 0 is equal to 13 plus x. Well, the x isn't by itself yet. We can get the x by itself with one step, Any idea what that one step would be? I'll take one guess, and then we'll talk about it as a group. Bear, be ready. Calling on you. Yes, Caroline?
If you make the x positive and then the 13 negative.
I can't just make it because I want it to be that way. What allows me to switch the signs? What can I do knowing that I'm allowed to add, subtract, divide, and multiply anything I want to one side as long as I do the same thing to the other? Let me ask this, Bear. What could I multiply to x that would not change it? So in other words, the question is, what is something times x is equal to x? 1, okay. Now if I multiply negative x by 1, I will just get negative x. I want positive x. All right, Gavin? Negative 1. If I multiply this by negative 1, you will flip the sign. Now if I multiply one side by negative 1, what must I do to the other side? So negative x times negative 1 is? Just plain old x, okay. What is 1 times negative x? Sorry, my goodness, you're right. You answered the right question. I asked the wrong one. 13 times negative 1 is in fact negative 13. So in this case, x equals negative 13. Have we gotten the variable all by itself?
Yes.
Guess what?
We won.
You win the game.
What's the prize?
The prize? The prize is the good, warm, fuzzy feeling you feel inside, but for being a winner. And we all love that feeling, don't we, Alex?
There's only one winner.
No. This game, there can be lots of winners. We can all be winners. Now, unlike what a lot of people will think, there can be losers here too. If you don't get there, it's not so good. I'm just joking around. If you didn't get the problem, don't worry about it. You'll get there eventually. All right. So now let's try another problem, and we're going to go through this slightly quicker. So we have 35 times 5. Sorry, 35 is equal to 5 times the quantity 5n plus 2. Then move. That's going to be my solution. All right. So, because I want to make sure everyone at home can see the beauty of my handwriting. No, we'll just move on. All right. So there are 2 ways to deal with this problem. I'm going to deal with it the quickest way because the not so quick way is going to come up later over here. So I'm not too worried about it. All right. So we have, what does it mean when a number is right next to a binomial? It means multiplication. Okay. Using SADMEP, going backwards, what will I deal with first? The 5 times the n inside the parentheses, the plus 2 inside the parentheses, or the 5 on the outside of the parentheses as being multiplied to the binomial. The 5 on the outside. If you couldn't hear that, shame on whoever said it, because I couldn't hear it either. So quiet. All right, so let's deal with the 5 on the outside. So what is the opposite of multiplying by 5? Dividing by 5. So we're going to do, and I will always, and this is important, I will always show division as a fraction bar. I will always do that. So you're going to have to get used to the idea of fractions and division being interchangeable. So we're going to divide by 5 because that's the opposite of multiplying by 5. Now if I divide the left side or the right side, I forget which. If I divide the right side by 5, what do I need to do to the other side? Divide by 5. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. 35 divided by 5 is?
7.
Is equal to 5 divided by 5? It's not a trick question. 1. Oh, that cancels out. That's nice. So we just get 1 times 5n plus 2. But what is 1 times 5n plus 2? 5n plus 2. Excellent. Okay. So now what is my next step? What is my next step? Miss May.
Take away 2 from each side.
Because we're going in reverse, excuse my dear Aunt Sally, order. So we have to deal with this addition first. So what's the opposite of adding 2?
Subtract 2.
So if I subtract 2 from the right side, what must I do to the left side?
Subtract 2.
All right. 7 minus 2 is
5.
equal to. So 5n minus nothing is 5n. So that just gets dropped straight down. 2 minus 2 is?
0.
All right. So now, do we have the n by itself?
No.
No. Okay, so we've done 2 steps and we're not done yet. That's okay. Let's do another step. So what must we do to both sides now? Clara.
We need to divide the term.
So divide, and so again, fraction bar. What am I going to divide both sides by? 5. All right. 5 divided by 5 is?
1.
5n divided by 5 is?
And
Have we gotten the n by itself?
yes.
Stand up, you are a winner.
We're winners.
You're Veners. V, hands up in a V for victory.
And Venus.
And Venus. Okay, sure. Have a seat. I'm a much bigger fan of Nike though.
Yeah, Nike's better.
Nike is better than
Because
Venus.
they also stand up for a ton of different things. They like share their opinion about it.
I think he kind of, so he said Venus, like how the goddess Venus, and then he said Nike, like the goddess of victory, Nike.
Whoa.
And then you guys started talking
Because we had our hands up in a V, so I'm talking about the goddess of victory, Nike.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like, oh.
No. All right, so
I thought he said a D.
we'll do the next problems in another video.